Preston Ebner checking in for Smith. Ebner split wide left. Chapin looking up top. He's looking for Ebner. Ebner's open. He has it. Touchdown Bears. A 61-yard score.
This is the Sikkim 365 Radio Sugar Bowl postgame show.
Offset with Smith in the backfield on 2nd and goal. And instead, they come around with the tight end. Ben Sims takes it in.
Our Sugar Bowl coverage is brought to you by Ideal MRI, Edward Jones Investments agents Ben Erlinson, Tom Albers, Brad Wilson, and Cam Heathcott. Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Willis Law Firm. American Bank. Pioneer Steel and Pipe. Genco Federal Credit Union. Camille Johnson Realtors. Automatic Chef Canteen. BetUS.com. Coach's XXX Smoke Barbecue. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat.
Jackson trying to turn the corner, and he did not get there. Darren McVay raced him to the pylon and made sure he came up inches short.
Now here's Paul Catalina.
Welcome into the Sikkim 365 Radio Baylor postgame show. Paul Catalina, David Smoak will join me here in a second. Armstrong Sims. We are just back from the Superdome where Baylor wins 21-7 over Ole Miss, completing arguably, and again, this could be a huge argument, the greatest season in Baylor football history, winning the Southwest, or, they've won the Southwest Conference, they've won the Big 12 a few times, but never had 12 wins, never won a bowl like this one, that's for sure. In the Sugar Bowl, a huge win, a big day for Abram Smith, not a great day for Gary Bohannon, but got it done, and the defense was smothering from beginning to end and made play after play after play. We want to hear from you, 254-339-1122 on the BetUS caller line or the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line. Or in the chat room. Keith Poza already jumping in. Bohannon with a rough first game back, but that defense would not be denied. Ika, Petrie, Bernard, and my personal favorite for MOP, JT Woods. Well, JT Woods was not the most valuable player. It was Terrell Bernard, but again, you might be splitting hairs, but I think maybe JT Woods gets the MVP if, in fact, they call that fumble the right way, the right way I thought it, but they called the fumble the other way, and it wasn't. But either way, the defense was outstanding. There wasn't really a weak spot all night. The best play that Ole Miss had a couple times was getting pass interference called a couple times and setting them up. They didn't make field goals. The game shifted on a missed field goal, and the momentum, which nobody really had for all that long until late in the game. Ole Miss seemed to have seized it, missed the field goal, and then it was all Baylor from that point on. Abram Smith took over the game offensively. The toss on the guy out of bounds was one of the best plays I've ever seen him made. just unbelievable from what we saw defensively from the Bears tonight, in a night where the offense did not really get involved all that much, and then not until very late in the game did they make an impact. Monterey Ball on the big touchdown kind of shook some things up as well. Smokey, get your headset on, and we'll jump on in a second once Armstrong gives me the go here. But let's see. Great defense from Welcome to Paradise. And DG says that was a fumble. Facts matter.
Well, that's a split bang call.
Yeah.
I thought one of the only time I thought maybe something was a little bit off was on the Matt Corral quarterback keeper on 4th and 1. I didn't think he made it. And again, I'm up in the box, whatever. But what a day. Baylor's men's basketball team wins and aims in a battle of unbeatens, continue to do what they do. Does any school in America athletically play better defense than Baylor with what they do with men's basketball and also with football?
No, I mean, this is quite the cap of the year. When you talk about, this is a team that lost by a hair's breadth to Oklahoma State, and and by a hair's breadth to TCU on the worst game they played all year.
Yep.
And
in a game in which I said when they lost that game, when Gary Bohannon threw the pick, that their Big 12 chances are over. And here they are. They haven't just won the Big 12. They won the Sugar Bowl, too.
Yeah, beat an SEC team. And I do know that the game changes, obviously, with Matt Corral getting injured in the game. You know, that changes the offense for Ole Miss completely. But
I don't know if it changed the offense because the young man, Altmaier, came in and ran the ball pretty effectively on occasion. He has a gun. He can throw it. You know, Gary Bohannon was playing on basically 1.5 legs. He obviously did not have his oomph in his legs. He couldn't throw the ball deep. He threw a bad pick. But, I understand what you're saying, but they had just sacked him twice. On their way, I think they still end up with 6, 8, 10 sacks. But, yes, he is a factor. At the same time, they had not scored when he went out.
No. Absolutely.
Still scoreless, and he had just been sacked in back-to-back plays.
And he'd thrown a pick and then almost given up a fumble and almost thrown another pick.
Hurt. I'm glad I heard the X-rays I saw. I think David Ubben had this note that X-rays were negative. That's fantastic. I hope he's fine. He's a hell of a player, and I hate to see him knocked out, but that's part of the game as well.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take a shot here, Smokey. We're in New Orleans. I usually have a rule about anonymous on the caller line. I'm gonna let you make.
Just cut them off if you don't like. If they get a little bit nuts, and again, 254-339-1122. I've got a flight in about 7-8 hours, but we'll stay up for a little bit here if we can.
All right, Brian and Capel Brian and Capel.
The hell was that?
Your leash is very short because you're anonymous. I'm talking short. If it's
Brian and Capel, how can it be anonymous?
No. I've fallen for this crap before. Well, I'm in a good mood, so we're going to do this.
We'll be like Sparky Anderson with a hook at the bullpen. Here we go. All right?
Go.
Hello?
Yeah. Nope. You'll kill all the rest of the callers.
All the rest of Brian's and Anonymouses are no longer. We're not doing it. Bigfoot, thank you. All right.
All right. Steven in Virginia is on the line. All right. There we go. Steven, please save us.
Hey, guys, I was on delay, so y'all were still cutting off Bigfoot. So I just got to enjoy that with you all together. This is something that I feel like I want to beat my chest in a way and say I told you so, because I said that I felt like the Iowa State game was the turning point and the close halftime score against Kansas and games against Texas State were meaningless. At certain points, I felt like the narrative of Matt Corral's injury was maybe going to take away from what was accomplished today. And none of that is true. Yeah. This is the most accomplished Baylor football team ever. Now, whether they're the best or not, you can leave that up for debate. But there's never been a team that has won 12 games and that has won its conference championship undisputed and won its bowl game in Baylor's history. And we are living in a time where Baylor is something that I never thought it would be. I remember there was, in Virginia, you grow up and Virginia Tech one year were playing, and I remember everyone was talking about that, and I brought up the Baylor game because in 2005 that week Baylor was going to win, had a chance to win 5 games for the first time in like 8 or 9 years under Sean Bell. And they said, nobody cares about Baylor. Baylor sucks. And that was the whole thing. And it's just in typical Baylor fashion that it's always a comeback story. And that Scott Drew and Dave Aranda allowed the spirit of the university to shine in their football programs and their basketball programs. And I feel like Nikki Collin will be the same way. And this is unparalleled in its success. And, this is the Super Bowl. This is as great as it's going to get. And is Baylor the Notre Dame of the South? They might be. This is really enjoyable, though. So I stayed up a really long time. It's 1:35. I don't know if
I know you're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
We'll let you get to sleep or let you watch the rest of what we're doing. Steven, thanks for your time. This year's Baylor team, first time ever 12 wins. First ever, I think, New Year's Day bowl win. They beat number 14 Iowa State, 19th Brigham Young, 4th-ranked Oklahoma, 5th-ranked Oklahoma State, 8th-ranked Ole Miss, won the Big 12, won the Sugar Bowl, had the all-time single-season rushing leader. Abram Smith passed up Terrence Ganaway, and I thought Terrence was classy in the tweet he had out earlier. Their defense was insanely good. This team, there's argument about whether, and you know what this win's also for? The team in 13 and 14 that won the Big 12, but they didn't finish the wins on their New Year's Day against Michigan State and Central Florida.
Yeah, that I think.
And even 2 years ago when they were really good and lost here to Georgia, got beat up by Georgia.
But yeah, and that's all part. We talked about it earlier about expanding the playoff. Like maybe you're not what you are as a program if you don't go through some of that as a coaching staff or as whatever. I know it's a different coaching staff for the most part, but even still, those players were here, and for these guys to come back after last year, 2-7 to 12-2.
Yeah, that's incredible.
is unbelievable. And
this program has rebuilt 4 times. Grant Taft, Art Briles, Matt Rule, and Dave Aranda. And a lot of that's been over the last 10 years, and 2 of it's been within the last 3 or 4 years with Rule and Aranda.
All right, let's go to Fred in Austin. Thanks for your call, Fred. You're on the Bet US caller line.
Hey, guys, I was just calling in to say, man, we whooped them up. I was talking to my daddy throughout the entire game, and we just dominated an SEC team. It wasn't anything like we saw Baylor play before. We dominated them at the line of scrimmage. We just seemed bigger. We seemed like we were just hitting them harder. What do y'all think about that? I'll let y'all go at this.
All right.
Hey, enjoy the night or the rest of the morning. It sounds like you're having a good time, and that's great. You should.
Yeah, I think the defense completely dictated.
How long did Dave Aranda have a chance to get ready for Ole Miss and Jeff Lebby's offense?
Look, the reason if you go on the website and look why I picked it, I said with a month I'll take Dave Aranda over Lane Kiffin, and not because this is any disrespect to Lane Kiffin. It's just there's some guys with a month to plan, you don't want to face that guy. Saban with a month to plan, you don't want to face that guy. Aranda with a month to plan, you don't want to face him.
There's certain guys. And Aranda has seen Kiffin when he was at Alabama, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what maybe it kind of reminds me of, and I used to think about this with Steve Spurrier. You didn't want Steve Spurrier with 2-3 weeks to plan for you. Steve Spurrier off a bye was always really good because when he didn't have to think about, okay, we've got this team and that team, around it. If you've got a bye and then he can just think about we're playing South Carolina, then South Carolina's going to get torched.
Yeah,
because he's going to figure it out.
He wishes he had more time in '95 though against Nebraska.
But Aranda is going to, and that staff is going to be able to sit there and get into the minutia a little bit better because of the way that they approach things, and that's why I picked it. I just thought that was going to be
you had that in your prediction. You're exactly right. Yeah. I felt like Baylor was going to win, and I know when we have across the board a lot of people that say we're going to, but I thought it would be a little bit more points scored. This was an old-fashioned slobber knocker, man. This was old-school football. This was SEC-style defense in this game from a Big 12 team. And we saw that this year with Oklahoma State, although they had the shootout game and the comeback against Notre Dame earlier today. What a day for Big 12 football with Oklahoma State and Baylor winning the games that they won today against Notre Dame and also Ole Miss.
Yeah, and we're going to bring in Craig here in a second, and usually it's just me, but the way that this worked out was kind of kismet in that
I'm too wired. I can't. I got it. We have to get up early, but what the hell, I'm wired. Let's go.
But Craig, your thoughts on the game, beginning to end, defensive domination, really. And
he's listened to some of the press conference stuff
listen
too.
To all got done. They just got done. Randa, Terrell Bernard, and Abram Smith were the media guys today, and they were very happy, as you might imagine. Very proud. Very just every good emotion you can imagine. And you think all the stuff those guys, Bernard and Smith, have been through, and then even Aranda, just the stuff last year, in the fight. And I thought it was really unique to Aranda that he was mentioning just how proud he was, and he was talking about. Before he talked about winning a Sugar Bowl or any of that stuff, he was talking about, the school record GPAs the last 2 semesters. And then he mentioned the record number of wins. And all that was kind of in regards to, the legacy of this team and all that. And they even said, a lot of people talked about this as an opportunity. And he said it wasn't really an opportunity to, say we beat the SEC or whatever. It was an opportunity to show who we are, show our identity. And I don't think they could have done that any more than they did tonight. I mean, Sean Bell just tweeted out, if you're a defensive player and you don't want to come play for Dave Aranda and Ron Roberts, you're insane, basically. And then he followed that up with, and if you don't want to play in the RVO offense with Jeff Grimes, same thing. So the coaches are all over Twitter right now. They are fired up. And just what an incredible night. I mean, that was an incredible atmosphere and, a really fun game. I hate that Matt Corral had to go down, but, that's part of the game. It's part of football. And, you can look back at different moments in Baylor history. Seth Russell getting hurt. What if? But ultimately, the only thing we're going to remember is who won those games. And, when you walk by that trophy case and there's a Big 12 title from 2021 and a Sugar Bowl title from 2021, I mean, that's what matters. And they got the job done. It wasn't easy. Hats off to Ole Miss, but, man, the defense in particular tonight just incredible. I mean, freaking incredible.
10 sacks, and Ole Miss had allowed 24. They also had the J.T. Woods pick. You had obviously the Alec Walcott pick, J.T. Woods' next pick. You had the forced fumble recovery, which was a bang-bang call, and it was overruled. Dave Aranda gave Ole Miss the ball right at the doorstep of Baylor, going for it on 4th down, which has been his style. That's his M.O., and they still didn't score. And that happened a couple of different times. The first half was played on Baylor's side of the field. The entire first half basically was, and Baylor still led at halftime.
Here's how good this defense was season long. Spencer Sanders, who was the first-team All-Big 12 quarterback, had 10 interceptions in the season going into, I don't know how many he had today, but I think he had a couple early, or one early. But he had 10 interceptions going in after the season. Baylor had 6 of them. Mm-hmm. So Spencer Sanders, who was a guy who was a turnover machine, only had 4 turnovers or interceptions outside of the Baylor game.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And so if you translate that to Mississippi, Ole Miss only gave up 24 sacks all year, an average of 2 a game. Baylor almost got to half of what they did on the season today. That's how good this defense was. And save from poor quarterback play from Gary Bohannon tonight. This game was close because of that. And for whatever reason you want to say it, but that's why the game was close. If Baylor has healthy quarterbacks tonight, maybe this game wasn't close.
Yeah, 254-339-1122. Want to hear from you. Enjoy it as you can. We're right outside the media room here. They're having all sorts of amazing food. The people at the Marriott have been incredible here in the Arts District, and they're going to let this thing stay open for 2 or 3 more hours.
It smells fantastic.
No, it does. It's Louisiana food at its best, just from the flavor. You can smell it, the fragrance of all of it.
All right, we're going to take Kay in Grand Prairie, and then we'll take a break and get some of the texts and calls and load it back up. But Kay, thanks for your call.
Hey, thank you for taking me.
I think we lost her.
Kay, are you there? Okay.
Yes, can you not?
Yeah, now go ahead. Yeah, we lost you. Just talking to the phone. Thank you.
Okay, I was just wanting to express how those of us who graduated in the 60s appreciate this team. I heard several of them say they wanted to come back and do something that had never been done before at Baylor. Well, One of the things they've done that's never been done before is to bring joy to a lot of old 80-year-old alumni's hearts. We endured taunts. We endured being in the bottom of the conference all the time, and we're still loyal and love football and love Baylor. And we just appreciate these young men, these coaches, these athletics directors, the administration, all that have helped to have these good basketball and good football programs. I just wanted to say thank you from all of us oldies.
Hey, Val, first of all, that's amazing. Kate,
That's
thank you very much
Kay.
that you called in and you were able to express it. I'm glad we were able to reconnect with you really well. That's amazing. I've seen that a lot from people who have texted me that this team's identity, it makes them incredibly proud. And it was a team that stayed away from drama throughout the entire year.
Well, that's,
and that's good news, too.
Yeah, the teams always take on the personality of their head coach, for better or for worse. And when you've got Dave Aranda, who is adverse to drama, adverse to it, this is a dude, and I don't know if you guys saw this on television. They dumped a Gatorade on him, and he didn't break his gate.
No, he didn't break his gate, and I don't think the actual moisture ever touched his skin. It was like,
Kay, thank you so much for the phone call. I'm so glad that you're getting to experience this moment, as a lot of other Baylor fans are. I mean, we're still kind of outsiders compared to graduates and whatnot, but I mean, we've also all been around for like 10 years now in Waco. But I know, as much as I possibly can know, the struggles and the embarrassment in some cases, and just the, kind of wanting to hide and, all that. And there could not be a better representative for what it, the school truly means, what the school is truly about, what the people of Baylor are really about. And that's what Dave Aranda actually got done saying, Terrell Bernard actually, talking about legacies and, what's going to stick with him and all that. And he was talking about just the people of Baylor. That's what makes it special. That's what he said, the people of Baylor. And he was just really proud that they could go on and display that and do that for people like Kay, who've been seeing way more bad football than they've seen good when you tally it up. But, man, you've seen a lot of good over the last few years and some bad. But this year, I mean, my gosh. And David Kay from Baylor, I wanted to pass along another stat. Talking about Sugar Bowl champs and Big 12 champs. First 12-win season, that was another mark.
Yep.
But also a school record. I didn't realize this. 5 wins over ranked teams.
Yeah, we mentioned
those. Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. Iowa State, BYU, Oklahoma State, and Ole Miss. Just incredible run. I mean, never could have foresaw this. I know some people thought, they could win the Big 12, or maybe they could do this or do that. I was not expecting this, and I'm glad to be wrong. I'll be wrong all day if it means it turns into this. And what a special group of guys to know where they came from and how this started and what it was last year and how it could have ended to end this way. Are you freaking kidding me?
Jalen Petrie's career ends up in a Sugar Bowl in which he had to go out of the game because he got dinged up a little bit. And he ends up a part of a Sugar Bowl championship team, a Big 12 championship team, and also a defense that was just like fire ants, smothering defense. And I know we got to take a break. We'll come back with you're going to take one more call?
Yeah, let's take one more call. Think about this, though. Between men's basketball and football, there's been 4 losses. 4. And the men's basketball losses were after COVID and in Lawrence, Kansas on senior night, one of them.
In the Big 12 game against Oklahoma State is pretty good.
And the third time they played Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
That's what it took to beat them twice. And the football team, it took, it took, weird stuff happening and Oklahoma State's best effort at their place. All right, let's go to Jeff in Mexico.
Here we go, Jeff.
There we go.
I know who this is.
Yeah.
Roll Tide.
Hey, Roll Tide, guys.
Roll
I
Tide.
want to thank you guys for being the Baylor fan. I told you guys in the earlier show that you guys would win by double digits, and I'm very proud that you guys not only won the Big 12, but you ended up winning the Sugar Bowl also.
Yeah, Jeff, you called it, man.
Yep.
You definitely called it. It didn't look like it was going to be a double-digit win there for a while, man. It looked like it was going to be a 7-0 ball game, and then shoot, when Ole Miss misses 2 field goals tonight, but that second one in particular, that was when all the momentum was in Ole Miss's favor. Their crowd was getting loud, and they missed that second one, and they were not expecting to miss that second one.
No.
It's like once they did, everything flipped back to the way it had been, and then Baylor was off to the races. But Gary Bohannon had a rough night. But credit to that young man for making some plays when he needed to.
When he threw the pick in the corner of the end zone, which was underthrown, and it was a great play by the corner battle.
Yeah.
But you know what? He made a couple of plays on that drive that kept the sticks moving. A couple of little subtle throws to the tight end underneath that kept it going. But you're right. And then even on one drive when Abram Smith with that manly as hell man run, Gary made a couple of plays. And good for him to not – because otherwise if they don't win the game, you know what's going to be the deal.
Yeah.
My God, they could have held it. Well, it's so good for him to lead them to the victory, at least as the quarterback.
You expect to make 30-yard field goals, short field goals like that one. I can't remember the exact yardage, but
I think
it was in
37 or 38.
It was in the 30s, like under 40. You expect to make those. The 50-yard field goal was kind of I think Lane Kiffin was just like, let's try to get some points on the board and do that because of the way the game was going. All right,
Monterey Baldwin with the
that
jet
was a play.
sweep.
That was a play of the game, I think. One of them.
Shoemaker, among some other players as well.
All right. We got a lot of text to read and some chat, and we got some calls. So let's take a break right here. And
can
then
I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Jeff, Roll Tide, man, appreciate you. You're one of those folks that we've been able to become, friends, so to speak, with over the last year or so, last few months. Congrats to Alabama on the win. Best of luck in the national championship game, and appreciate the support, Jeff. Roll Tide.
Yeah, we got calls from Washington, D.C. and Natchitoches, Louisiana coming up.
Natchitoches, the great way of Natchitoches. It's 254-339-1122. We're outside. We're on the air. We're going to go for a little while here with Paul Catalina, David Smoak, Craig Smoak, Paul Catalina, and the Postgame Show and Armstrong Sims back in a moment. 365 Sports.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
American Bank has been serving Waco since 1952, and we're just getting started. Hi, I'm President and CEO Dana Hassel. Over the past few years, we've been busy investing in new technology to give you the best banking experience possible. We've also expanded our downtown branch and built 2 state-of-the-art buildings at our Woodway and Bellmead locations. With bright open lobbies, plus fast, personal, interactive teller machines, everyone in Waco is now just minutes away from face-to-face banking. Visit us today and see how we're invested in serving you at American Bank. Member FDIC.
Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physicians for Baylor Athletics, diagnosing and treating all sports-related injuries, including concussions. These specialists also provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike, whether it's knee or shoulder pain, hand or wrist injuries, orthopedic spine care, and even an arthritis and total joint clinic. Trust the doctors Baylor Athletics trusts. Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics wants to get you back in the game.
Automatic Chef Canteen is a full-service micro-market vending and office coffee provider with state-of-the-art vending equipment, a wide variety of products, and offering custom-fitted micro-market vending office coffee solutions for your employee break room. You want a full break room solution and a workplace oasis? Well, Automatic Chef Canteen, locally owned and operated for over 50 years in Central Texas, also includes in-house mechanics on call 24/7 for fast, reliable service and maintenance. Automatic Chef Canteen, 6900 Imperial Drive in Waco, or online at automatichefcanteen.com.
This is the Sikkim 365 Radio Sugar Bowl postgame show.
Under 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Sanders pressured off for the fake and throws another interception. Matt Jones picked it off.
Call us on the Bet US hotline, 254-339-1122.
Welcome back into the Sikkim 365 Radio Baylor postgame show. Paul Catalina, David Smoak, and Craig Smoak. 254-339-1122. Let's go right to the phones. We're going to Washington, D.C., although Washington, D.C. might be here in New Orleans tonight. And then we're going to D.C. in Natchitoches, Louisiana. But let's go to Matt in D.C. You are on Sikkim 365 Radio. Matt, do we have a location on your brother?
There's no location, but all I'll say is just don't feed the dinosaur when you see him. Hey, though, what a night, what a season. I just have to say, I mean, this is the greatest season in the history of Baylor football for any doubters or anyone that ever wants to say anything. It's just insanity. Like the first conference champion to win their New Year's Six Bowl, and I think when the final AP poll comes out, we're going to be fifth at least.
Should be.
Yeah. That's what it is. This is the greatest season we ever had, and it's just going to take us to another level. This has been one of the most 2013 season was the most fun I've ever had personally, but I mean, it's just going another level. It's just like I'm just happy to be here and enjoy it with all y'all. And what a season, what a year. 2021, 2020 was tough for everybody, but hopefully, this carries us through the next year. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to y'all, and y'all enjoy it. And I'm going to stop talking and just enjoy it with y'all. So, y'all, thank y'all for everything y'all do, and y'all just keep doing it. Let's go.
Thank you, Matt. Matt, great. Thanks. Glad you stayed up for it, man. Thank you.
So I'm looking at the last poll. That would have been December 5th, right? Mm-hmm. Bama's 1, Michigan's 2, so they're going to drop. Georgia's 3. They'll probably end up number 2. Cincinnati's 4, Notre Dame's 5. I'd say Baylor's probably ending up top 5.
Yeah.
And, 12 wins, school record. 5 top 25 wins, school record. New Year's 6 win, never been done. I mean, just the list goes on. And then you consider the group that did it, the staff that did it. Just incredible. I keep saying that word incredible, but I don't know a better one for it because that's the word that keeps popping into my head.
Yeah. All right, let's go to D.C. in Louisiana from Natchitoches, one of my favorite cities to say in the entire world. D.C., thanks for your call, buddy.
Hey, I got to give you props, man. You said it correctly, Paul.
That's right.
But, yeah, no, man, I'll tell you what. First off, I enjoy y'all's show. It's been great. Been with Sikkim 365 since they started, with Brian and Ashley and everybody, and great job y'all do. So I appreciate it. Thank you. I will say this. I go back. I'm a Louisiana guy, graduate from Baylor. We didn't have sports when I was at Baylor. We sucked at everything. But I will say this. I watched Dave Aranda through his days at LSU, and then his move I really enjoyed and was happy that they brought him over. He is a cerebral assassin, and just the X's and O's and the way he pulls it off and the things that he does, and it showed tonight, it showed on this year. He is a even keel guy. And I think he was the best thing that Baylor could bring in this.
Yeah, Mack Rhodes needs to get credit along with the search committee for what they've done with what they got with him. And, of course, they brought in Matt Rule, who was on his way out pretty quickly. But, man, that's a great call. Thanks from Natchitoches, Louisiana, home of the Northwestern Louisiana Demons.
Yeah.
Right?
It's Natchitoches, right?
Yeah.
No, it's Natchitoches. Well, I learned that a long time ago.
And I was at SFA, and Natchitoches is a rival as far as Natchitoches, just because of the names and how they're actually said.
Sorry, but kind of on that topic, did y'all repeat the tweet that I sent out from Lane Kiffin in his postgame?
I think I did, yeah. Okay. Go ahead and read that, Craig.
For those that didn't, he was asked about their struggles on offense, and he said even prior to Matt Corral being injured, even when Corral was healthy, he said we were struggling. I don't think we did a great job game planning. They outcoached us on that side of the ball. Dave's done that to a bunch of people, including me a couple of times. So that was Lane Kiffin giving it up for Dave, also kind of throwing his OC under the bus a little bit too. But I think that was mostly credit to Dave Aranda. And you're right, he is just an unbelievable football coach. And one of the things I probably didn't give enough weight for, as much as you look at the high-flying, it was like basically Baylor looking in the mirror from 7-8 years ago in a way, defensively versus offensively. But one thing I probably did not put enough weight on is Dave Aranda, football genius, having an entire month.
Well, and that's what Paul said in his prediction.
Rightfully, and that's absolutely spot on because it was clear like they were ready. They were absolutely ready, and Dave Aranda is just a tremendous head coach. Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, there are guys. I told Smokey this before we got here. I learned it the hard way watching Steve Spurrier for a long time. When we talk about that Nebraska game earlier today. The reason that FSU didn't want to play Florida again after James Brown and Texas beat Nebraska was Bobby Bowden knew that if I give Spurrier a month to figure out what he did wrong against us before, he's going to be ahead of us.
And it might just be a trick play or two or some sort of subtle thing, but he's going. Yeah, exactly.
Everything that happened, the fact that the quarterback got hit. So Dave Aranda's got that kind of mind where if you know that like here's the three things that Ole Miss does, I'm going to spend 1 week on this thing, 1 week on this thing, and 1 week on that thing, and then another week installing it all. That really is kind of how he works. Okay, he's got a Belichick mind in that too, where it's simple, where it's.
We say Aranda, and he is absolutely the Jedi. But Ron Roberts, Kevin Curtis. I know they're losing Matthew Pallage to Oregon. This is his last game with Baylor. They have Dennis Johnson up front, defensive line, and then of course the coach that was brought up. He changed his last name from Jones or whatever
Collins.
Collins, the offensive outside linebackers coach. I mean, these guys right now, they've got it. And what Sean Bell tweeted, and I had put out something about that as well. Don't look at all the glitz and glamour when you see the recruiting or whatever. Look at the results in real. And this staff right now with what they do defensively, if you don't love the way they play, then love the way they play, full throttle, hair on fire, 100% every play, then you're not paying attention.
There are
Caleb Collins.
Yeah.
Yes, Caleb Collins.
There are three defenses that shut down Ole Miss this year. Obviously, Baylor tonight. Alabama shut them down. Of course, they kind of overwhelmed them offensively early and maybe took it out. And then A&M in all reality did, because most of their problem was late in the game turnovers that led to Ole Miss points in negative territory. But and A&M didn't do as good a job. And Alabama, and so if you're putting Baylor on the tier defensively with Alabama right now, and when you can compare that, like that's where they're headed.
Well, that's what you wanted to be. Again, it was an SEC-style game of what the SEC used to be known for, which now they have gone so full throttle with the up and down tempo game. Let's get a couple of texts because we don't want to overlook them in just the calls.
All right. It really seemed like Gary was not seeing the field well, and Grimes was not helping him with creative play calling until the fourth quarter. That's from Johnny. I don't have a problem with any of the play calling tonight, other than maybe some of the personnel groupings they had. Yeah. I think the issue really was execution from the quarterback, and the other thing is they knew what they had out of Gary physically.
Trying to protect him. He was trying to protect him.
They knew what they had.
I said at one point, everybody's like, why are they only running the football? And then he nearly throws like his third pick, and I'm like, that's why they're not throwing the football.
He got away with what would have been a pick six at about his own 30 at a critical time.
I'll say this about this coaching staff. There are coaching staffs. Lane Kiffin's a guy like this a little bit, that if it's the game plan, that's the game plan, and they're going to go. This coaching staff isn't like that, where they're not so invested in what they worked out. Like, they'll scrap something that's not working, but they also know enough that, like, this is all that we can do here, and we have to.
They knew that they weren't going to win. Craig mentioned this. They're not going to win the game by Bohannon throwing for 300 yards and throwing for 4 or 5 touchdowns. It's just not. That's, first of all, not who they are. Maybe one day they can do that again, but that's not who they are. But the Monterey Baldwin jet sweep, because normally that had been Drew Estrada, that not. Usually, he had some catches. He's clutch at that, but that's a wrinkle that they brought him in at that particular time.
That Estrada play never pops. Like, whenever they've run it, they've tried to run it like once almost every game, and it never ever pops for more than like a yard or two. But Monterey Baldwin got it, and then he just went what they always talk about, upfield. And then once he did, like, he was gone. And that was an what a memorable play for that young man, Shoemaker. Grey Wolves, salute to y'all.
Toby Foreman's got to be happy, but 280 yards rushing. They never got away from it, even though at times you wondered. They started popping the big runs. Abram Smith had a long run, 2 or 3 of them. Ebner had a couple. There was a first down run from Ebner in that same drive, and I think when Monterey Baldwin scored, when Ebner popped outside and picked up a first down that could have been 2 or 3 yards, he got about 11. And the next thing you know, 14-7 Baylor.
One other thing, somebody told me, and I don't know, I wasn't watching the TV broadcast, but somebody said that after Gary had underthrown another pass or whatever, that Grimes went up and got in his, maybe not got in his face, but he went over and was like, gave him a talking to. And you know what? Afterwards, he overthrew the next ball.
Yeah.
And so, he just couldn't find that meeting. I think he's obviously not 100%.
You cannot throw the ball with 1.5 legs.
Yes.
You could tell on the throw in the end zone that was picked off near the pylon in the corner, underthrown ball. You even showed the replay. The TV guys were showing he couldn't really let it go.
Hamstrings are tough to come back from, and you just don't. A month you can get back to where you're functional, and that's what Gary was. But he wasn't there. All right, let's go to Ryan. Let's see. Ryan texts in, tons of friends with teams in the SEC. Was super impressed with the Baylor defense. They could not believe the translation from the Browse offense to the Rule Aranda defense. They never thought they would see the way Baylor would win with defense. They said that defense would compete in the SEC, and yes, it would.
No, it would.
Defense travels no matter what it is.
Yeah, I think, obviously you got to look at again, a tremendous coaching job across the board. Every position group was way better this year than it was last year. I think across the board you could say that. Everybody got better. And, obviously bringing in Siaki Ika, Apu was a major, major transfer portal get. All their transfer portal gets were huge, getting the 2 on the offensive line. And then
How about Dylan Doyle a couple of years ago?
Doyle a couple of years ago. And my gosh, what a player he's turned into. And that's an SEC-worthy defense, and I think. And, it's just getting started, too, even though they're going to lose some great players.
A lot of the guys who had sacks, some of them were the big names, but there's a lot of young men in there that are right on the edge of being the next stars. Bryson Jackson amongst some others. Garmin Randolph.
Well, he wasn't even playing tonight, right? Garmin Randolph. I don't think he
had 2 sacks.
No, he had.
I'm thinking of somebody else. Sorry, I'm thinking of somebody else.
And there's still young guys that are starting to get. Now they're in the feeding frenzy, and you feed off of that, and now you've learned from the best, who, of course, have been on this team for the last 5 years.
All right, got 2 calls. Let's go to Vegas. Taylor. I'm hoping it's Taylor. Sometimes this thing gets good over. Let's go. You're on the Bet US caller line.
Hey, hello.
Yes.
Taylor, how you doing? Go ahead.
No, it's not Taylor. No, it's Phil.
Oh, okay. Phil. Okay. Go ahead, Phil.
Hey, it's talking about nice defense. Oh, that was a nice defense that they did. I thought it was knocked out. Baylor's defense, they just ramped it up a notch or 2.
Yeah,
they did, and they kept squeezing. They gave up the fade, the touchdown. Eventually, again, Ole Miss is a good football team, 8th in the country, and they got the fade, and that was kind of when Baylor had wasted a couple of opportunities up 7-0. It could have been 10 or 13 or nothing, and you could kind of see a little momentum shift as well. But that's really it. And there were a couple of pass interference calls or whatever, but they didn't get them much, and the defense just haunted the quarterbacks at Ole Miss.
The player I was thinking of was Gabe Hall.
Yeah,
Gabe Hall was out tonight.
Yeah.
And, you imagine him being out there. They had 10 sacks without Gabe Hall.
Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive. And so that's who I meant. But yeah, you look at the future with Gabe Hall, Garmin Randolph, Bryson Jackson. there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah.
Ika.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apu, another year,
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Houston. Didn't get the name, but let's go to the 713. You're on the Bet US caller line.
Hey, guys, it's Finley Booth here in Houston. Similar to the basketball team, we just find ways to win when things aren't working. We just grind it out. What a day, what a season for Baylor football. So excited for the future of this team and what's in store for Dave Aranda. Only in the second year and what's going forward for the program. So good. What a great game.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for staying up with us, and congratulations. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy all of what you're having right now at Baylor and athletics. We appreciate the call. You're right. You make some great points.
All right. Well, I think we can do one more segment if you'd like, but it is.
I want to look up the Kevin Gall tweet. Craig's the one that mentioned this. Let me see here. Kevin Gall, who's, of course, the associate athletic director with Baylor. Let me look. Siaka Ika, by the way, thanks for all the sugar tonight. Hottie toddy.
Well,
he have some fun.
He was also responding to a tweet Ole Miss put out like 8 hours before the game, or 8 hours ago, like before the game, and it was basically referring to the cancellation of the game that was supposed to be played last year, and then he made a little snide comment about that. But he's having fun. A lot of people are having fun, and rightfully so. If you're a Baylor fan, what an incredible night. We know what it was like 2 years ago. Remember that? We're just waiting on when Matt Rule was going to be announced to whoever he was going to be announced to, and wondering what the future was once again. Because oh my gosh, they got to change head coaches for another time, and who knew what was in store? So 2 years later, just shows you what hard work, belief, having the right people around you can do. It can make you accomplish some incredible things.
Austin Staten, thank you. The tweet you put out about who needs Sports Center when we're on the air. Thank you mentioning all of us.
I saw Austin at the Big 12 title game. Actually,
you did?
Yeah, it was good to see him. So
I'm going to try to find the Kevin Gall tweet. It was really cool what he said about what this athletic department and what Mack Rhodes has done with all the hires that they've had and what the hires have done under his watch. Doesn't mean he's been flawless, but it's a pretty impressive note.
Let's go back to Phil. Phil got dropped. Go ahead, Phil. Finish your thoughts. Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I thought they put up the pressure when the quarterback was out. And I just thought that their defense was so spectacular. I thought their defense could beat Alabama.
Look, if you don't allow him, thanks for your call, Phil. Yeah.
I do think that you look at that team, I mean, not offensively, but defensively, it's a playoff caliber team. I think they could have gone in there and played some of these other teams and done really well. Whoever you want to throw out there. I mean, as explosive as the Ole Miss offense was, and I know Matt Corral didn't play most of the game, but I mean they were getting to him before he got injured, and that's why he got injured.
The
was because they got
last two plays
to him.
he was sacked.
Yeah,
Kevin Gall, 36 athletic directors have hired a football coach who've led the program to a New Year's Six bowl in the college football era. 29 of those ADs hired one coach. 6 ADs hired 2. Only 1 AD has hired 3. Who have led their programs to New Year's Six bowl games. Mack Rhodes.
Herman at Houston,
Matt Rule at Baylor, and now Dave Aranda at Baylor. We'll break and come back with one more segment. I think we can do that.
Well, let's take James's call in Amarillo first. By the way, that Tom Herman, I'm still mad about Mac for that one.
Oh, who they beat?
It was a bad day. That was a bad day. James in Amarillo, you are on the Bet US caller line.
Is this Paul Catalina?
Yes, it is.
Guys, listen. I appreciate your show. You guys are awesome. I'm gonna tell you, Matt Rule's 1-11 season. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember that?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. I remember actually crying in some games because of how hard those young men were playing. Those young men that were underage, they were not really grown men, but they were battling. They were battling. And that's what the last season, they were doing the same thing. They were battling. They were battling. And that's what this team represents to me. This is the culmination of hard work, dedication, and belief. This has been a beautiful, beautiful season. And you add on top of that what the basketball program has been doing. It's just fantastic, guys. It's just fantastic for Baylor alumni, Baylor fans. This is beautiful. It's time for all the haters to go eat it. It's time for T-Rex to become the frickin', the representative of the program. Let's go, guys. Appreciate everything you do. Appreciate everything you do, guys. You have a good time out there in New Orleans tonight.
Thank you.
I was there with you.
Thank you so much. Hey, by the way, you mentioned that 2017 team that went 1-11 and played so hard. I'll never forget the week before they played Oklahoma. They had, I don't know if they had already beaten Kansas or not, but I'll never forget it. I'll say this, and you wonder if, he was watching tonight, not only Matt Rule, but Joey McGuire. You could see it turning, and that's when they gave Oklahoma hell. That was the Taylor Young hit on Baker Mayfield. That was a game going down to an onside kick, and they were terrible as far as what they had done. And they played their asses off that day, and it was, even though they still got beat up a little bit down the road in that season, you could tell that is their MO, that is their personality, that is who they are.
Yeah. All right, let's take one more break right here. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up.
Appreciate the call.
Yeah, anything. We'll clean up the chat room, the text, anything, and then we got to go pack up. We got an early flight.
So. All right, Sikkim 365 Radio, 365 Sports live in New Orleans.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Baylor University is where lights shine bright. So, let there be light. Let there be roommates and teammates, scholarship and championships. Let there be fresh starts and new traditions, fast friendships and lasting impacts. Let there be laughter. Let there be joy. Let there be light. Baylor University, where lights shine bright.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Shorty's Pizza Shack at 12th and Bagby is a homegrown, family-owned and operated must-visit pizza place in Waco. Fantastic pizza by the slice or get the whole pie to share. Great happy hour specials every single day, and it's not just pizza. Great wings. You have to try the Sikkim sauce, chili cheese fries, pizza pillows, and more. Dine in for a great hangout or carry-out. Order online at shortyspizzashack.com or do yourself a favor and bring your crew to the restaurant at 12th and Bagby. Shorty's Pizza Shack. Tell them Paul sent you by.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
This is the Sikkim 365 Radio Sugar Bowl postgame show.
Sanders throws too high and intercepted. And being run back by J.T. Woods inside the 10 and out of bounds. They're going to mark him right near the 10-yard line.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? Search 365 Sports on YouTube.
Welcome back into the Sikkim 365 Radio Baylor postgame show. Paul Catalina, David Smoak, and Craig Smoak wrapping it up. We got one more call.
Nick Morgan. It looks like Smokey, I don't know why you guys, is wearing beads. I do not want to know how he earned them.
Yeah, well.
Show me your Twitter handle.
No, I know. I got hit in the head with some beads last night, and I wasn't even. He was just mad at me for being there.
I actually, while I was waiting for the bus, heard a couple girls, probably late 20s or something, they were walking by, and one girl was telling the other girl, she's like, yeah, it's really PG now. Like, you used to have girls showing it off on balconies, and it's not like that anymore. I was just like...
You know why? Because some creep named Joe Francis invented Girls Gone Wild, and people are like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but she called it PG.
That was me at my lowest moment, and now I'm on a DVD cover. Great. All right, let's go. The 5-1-2. I'm a Baylor letterman, and so is my wife. Baylor's all we know. We've endured the ups. We've cried with joy through the highs. Tonight is a shining moment in our history. Tonight is a culmination of every effort by every Baylor Bear who's flinged our green and gold afar. Sikkim forever, Sikkim to the end of time. Ryan tweets back in, Baylor is 3-0 versus the SEC this season. Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Oh, my Lord, yeah.
Hey, if we're going to count Cincy and all those schools as Big 12, we got to count them as SEC. And, hey, what a big win by the men's basketball team earlier today over Iowa State.
Absolutely.
Ryan from Orlando, who met us at the Hilton before the Russell Athletic Bowl, said, what a fantastic game, an incredible group of young men. Miranda is amazing. Sikkim Bears.
I think that's one of the things that is a story, and I think it's been brought up, and it's been brought up because of Miranda. This is a group that the culture of this program right now, which sometimes can be a little bit overrated, it really is in a really fantastic spot. The culture of this program. Scott Drew has his. Dave Aranda is developing his.
Yeah, and Dave Aranda did it pretty quick.
Yeah,
and that's also a bit of a credit to Matt Rule.
No, it is. I mean, it absolutely is, because that's kind of where the foundation was laid.
Well, he got those guys, Bernard, Petrie, all them to believe, and then once Aranda came in, he knew he could go to those guys and just carry it over. He had leaders already.
Yeah, Terrell Bernard won the MVP, and you look at his stats. He had like 15 tackles and 2 sacks and a PBU, but J.T. Woods had an unbelievable game today as well, and I just want to make sure. I know Brent brought that up. He was phenomenal today as well.
I thought got robbed of a fumble recovery, but
he did. Should have had 3 turnovers all by himself.
Yeah. And he almost had another one right in his lap at the end of the game too. It just fell short because it was a bad throw.
All right, we got 2 more calls. Bill from Waco, you're on the Bet US caller line.
Hey, just saying, as a Buckeye fan, I love your guys' defense. I think it's solid. I think it's strong. I hate Bohannon. I don't think he's the answer. I loved the quarterback previous to him, and I follow Baylor pretty strong, but I think that defense is solid, and I think you guys have just a strong future ahead of you guys. And, I wish the best of you guys, and I wish the best of Baylor. I think that's an awesome program that I root for, and that's all I got to say.
Hey, man, thanks a lot. By the way, congratulations to the Buckeyes on a dramatic come-from-behind win against Utah.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Holy, Stroud was
Smith
incredible.
And Jigba, are you kidding me? Nearly
from
400 freaking yards receiving.
Without Garrett Wilson and Olave, they went nuts. And Utah played their guts out too, and they just fell short.
I feel bad for Utah, but you're thinking if you're the Ohio State offense, you're like, well, we lose Olave and Garrett Wilson, so how do we distribute that? Oh no, let's simplify it. We'll just give it to one guy. One guy.
And that was another game. It would suck to see Cam Rising go down because he was having a pretty good game. But I bet, Bill, and I'm not trying to knock you because you'll understand this, but I bet you really appreciated that defense after what you see with Ohio State. So hopefully here's Jim Knowles coming in from Oklahoma State, and hopefully he gets that thing right for for you guys.
And if he has his team at Ohio State, they play defense like he got his team to play at Oklahoma State, they'll be just
well, that combo's that'd be salty.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, in Saudi Arabia.
There we go.
I think this is got to be the good ender on a call. So Saudi
hey guys,
Arabia.
How are you?
Hey, buddy, good to have you. Thanks for
hey
staying
guys,
up.
How are you?
You're doing great.
Oh, you bet. Yeah, for me, it's just 10 in the morning, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
But I tell you what, I woke up to an exciting game, but a scary one. I just want to ask you guys, between the first half and the second half, it was so different. I mean, I'm just following it on my computer, phone here, but what was going on, do you think, with the coaches thinking about the 4th and 2 going forward when they're in their own territory at the start of the game?
Done it all year.
I was surprised by that call. Neither worked out.
Yeah, no, they've done it. He's done it all year. Yeah. He's probably been more successful than not. It came back to almost bite him in the Oklahoma State game in the Big 12 championship, but that is him. And how many times did he do it knowing his defense would probably somehow survive it? Now, he put him in a bad position, but that's he's, for such a quiet, what seems like a very conservative type personality, he's a mad, crazy man when it comes to 4th down, no matter where it is on the field.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna stop doing what they got them.
Under that,
Go ahead.
Under that calm veneer, he's aggressive.
Yeah,
he makes calculated, aggressive moves. He's not shy. He's not reserved. I mean, you would never call him conservative. He seems that way when you look at him on the outside. But his style of football, the aggressiveness of the defense, the play calling, the scheming, the target, how he targets certain things. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and he's very aggressive underneath that calm veneer, and I'm impressed.
I agree, 100%.
He's making it happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Steve, I'm sure you. Steve, I'm sure you've seen the movie A Few Good Men. I've made this comparison to him before. There's a line in that movie where Tom Cruise is coaching up Demi Moore and Kevin Pollak about going into the trial, and he says, he gives them all these things. He says, no matter what happens, you have to look like it's exactly what you expected to happen. And Dave Aranda is exactly that. Yeah. Like, whatever happens, I decided to go for it on 4th and 2 at my own 39. I didn't get it. I'm going to look exactly like we had gotten it. It's the same look.
And I think it was, you're not going to get into the biggest game and stop doing what got you there.
There you go.
Because, that all of a sudden then makes the team go, well, wait a second, we've been going for this all year. Well, you don't believe in us? And I think there's a confidence thing and a belief thing. But I think also when you fail at it miserably, because Abram Smith got stuffed on 1 4th down and the other one didn't go well right after that. And I think that he eventually goes, okay, now you can change plans. Now you say, okay, it's not working, we can change, but you weren't going to start off by doing something you don't do.
What's interesting is he went for it from his own 30 or 40 and yet punted from the 45 or 40 of Ole Miss. And, of course, then it became a turf war. He was trying to win the turf war, and eventually he did.
Yeah.
Thanks for, again, good morning in Saudi Arabia. We lost it. Yeah. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. There's so many people. Charlie and Willie and Josh. And of course, Avery Bowerman of the Marriott who set us up, and John Sudsbury, the Sugar Bowl. We had our own suite, a broadcast suite for the broadcast. You had the Ole Miss radio, and you had the Baylor radio, and then you also had ESPN National Radio, and then you had the coaches booth and all of that. And so we appreciate John Sudsbury and the commitment of our great sponsors in allowing us to be here for the Big 12 championship game to now. We'll be back Monday at 3 Central, and my goodness, will we have a bunch to get to then, and we'll get into the championship game, of course, between Alabama and Georgia.
Monday at 3 Central is Tuesday at 2 a.m. Saudi Arabia time.
Let's see, what time is it here? Is it
expecting to hear from you again. Saudi Arabia.
Armstrong Sims, incredible job along with Jack McKenzie. They've got a long drive back, but they have been phenomenal behind the scenes.
Like you said, this, obviously COVID played a little deal as far as the press conferences and things like that. The folks at the hotel, not just saying that because they're here, but unbelievable hospitality all week. The food's fantastic. Unbelievable job by everybody here. Not just saying that because you're standing there, my man. Truly.
Yeah. No. Hey, look, the city of New Orleans. And I'll compare it to Miami. They both host a lot of things.
Yeah.
Miami can't be bothered with your needs or trying to make you feel comfortable. The city of New Orleans wants everybody to have a party, so every minute of every day makes you feel like you live in this city, and they want you to stay here all the time.
Hey.
And every time I feel that, every time I'm here, it's unbelievable. Every time. I love New Orleans should host everything.
Hey, let's get the staff. Oh, seriously, you guys, no, come on over here. Get behind.
I don't think they can.
No,
They
no.
can't.
They can't. Oh, you can't. That's right. We can't.
Trying to break things over here. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, they can't.
They can't host everything.
I love it. All right. For everyone listening, they can't. That's right. There's some sort of a deal. We can't show their
Paul's
pictures.
been doing this all year long, so let's not swoop in. Let him
Good
close it
job.
out.
Yeah.
Well, J.D. Bickel.
Yeah,
and
JD.
Spencer Drango,
Brian
Blake
Etheridge.
Blackmore, Brian Etheridge, Cole Barber, Ashley Hodge. JD put up a tweet about what we've done all week long. JD, you and Hayden Bumpus as well. Even though you're not here, you are, because we're family.
All right, that is a wrap on football season for the Baylor Bears. 12-2, Sugar Bowl champs, 21-7 over Ole Miss. Thank you to everybody who called. Thank you to everybody who texted. Thank you to everybody who stayed up and watched us. Over 200 to 300 of you on YouTube tonight. Thanks to Craig and Smokey for coming down and hang out with us. Thanks to Armstrong. He's been doing this all year and doing a fantastic job of it. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you back in the studio for the first time in 2 weeks.
Thank God. Stop living out of the luggage.
All right.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.